Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.
Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show, sponsored by Arnold Clark. It is Thursday, and as ever in the studio, Alan Ruff and Tam Cowan are with me, ready to attack all the issues of the day. And, as you would expect, we're looking at European football. Yeah, lots to talk about, not too far away from kick-off between Rangers and Porto in Portugal. And I'm just looking at the overall team here. And McGregor, Tavernier, Goldson, Helander, Barisic, Jack, Davis, Kamara, Barker, Kent and Morelos. Obviously, as you would expect, the majority of them there you would have picked, Ruffy, but Barker's in there as well to try and add something in the front line.
Yeah, Barker and Kent, you know, two wide players. You know, if you were going away from home, you would think he'd be under the cosh for a wee while, but he obviously thinks he can get at them in the wide positions, and certainly the two of them have got tremendous pace and could hurt them. Yeah, well, it's an adventurous attitude from Steven Gerrard, and you just never know. I think it'll be tough, but you know, he's proved quite a lot of people wrong in some of the results.
Absolutely, because you'd almost have thought they might have gone the opposite way and thought, right, just sit back a bit, we're away in Europe, let Porto come at us, and then hopefully hit them on the break in the second half or whatever. But it would appear that they're going to have a go, which is good. As you know, I'm heading out just to watch the double header there now, which is always a hard shift on a Thursday when there's drink involved, but I fight on valiantly, and I will be going again. I've bet it already, Peter. It's going to come up one of these weeks, 0-0, both games.
The other thing about it as well is I feel as if, because we're going into the festive period, that you're trying to stay friendly with everybody, because, you know, there'll be a lot of appearances, there's a lot of chances, you know, where you're going to get invited out to things, and I feel as if the 0-0 is maybe lowering people's expectations of you as a pundit, but increasing their likeability with you.
It's sitting of the highest order, right? Yes. But I say genuinely, when you put that on, it's a regular bet at a place for a correct score, and until somebody puts the ball in the net, you're winning. Yeah. That's the way to look at it.
How many times have you won?
None.
Exactly. And over and above that, will you be heavy on the night out towards the Porto Rangers game, or will are you one of those?
I try to pace myself, because I like the two games. Genuinely, you know me, if it was, for example, Porto against Lazio, I wouldn't even turn on the telly.
Yes.
But the minute you've got the Scottish teams involved, absolutely, make a wee night of it. And the weekends start on Thursdays anyhow now.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, with that in mind, it just brings me nicely into that point of people having a drink, because there's no doubt the Rangers fans will be having a drink during the day ahead of this match. But there's a warning, and it's something that the Rangers fans are well aware of, not only from the club, but Steven Gerrard has reiterated the need for them to behave.
When we can hear the Rangers supporters in full voice and they're right behind the team, it's incredible support, and they've been with us and helped us immensely over the 16-17 months I've been in the club. So we ask for that same support, and you know, we echo the message that the club's put out, that it's very important that they behave in the right way, because we don't want to see further punishments down the line. We want Ibrox to be rocking in the two remaining home fixtures with a full house, not sections missing. And we also want our fans to be able to go over to Feyenoord and enjoy that fixture as well. So I think they have the opportunity tomorrow to make everyone connected to the club proud with the behaviour.
Yeah, so the fans have it laid out clearly. They've got to behave themselves. The players have just got to go out there and produce, dare I say it, Tam might say 0-0, Ruffy. I think Porto will be too strong for Rangers, but I look at Ryan Jack back in there in the middle of the park. If ever a boy can benefit, not only from signing the extension, but he must be benefiting from the knowledge that Steven Gerrard, one of the best midfielders of the last 20 years, is passing on to him.
Yeah, and as neutrals, we're obviously hoping he does well for Rangers, but he's a Scotland prospect. You know, we need as many players as possible playing at this level, you know, bringing him on leaps and bounds, and let's hope he can stay away from injury. So he is going to be a big player. They wouldn't have given him that length of contract if he didn't think it was going to be worth to the team.
Yeah, prediction?
I'm going to go for one each. Rangers, one each.
You going to say something there?
I'm just thinking that you're right. I mean, Ryan Jack, he must be getting out there tonight brimming with confidence. He has just signed a new deal. As you say, Steven Gerrard has just rubber stamped the fact that Gerrard, one of the greatest players of his generation, loves him.
Yeah.
He wants him to play for his club, so he must get there the night. The side bet I would maybe have on the night, if you can get such a bet, a tenner on him to be man of the match, you get the feeling he's just going to come to the fore, you know. But I think Rangers would be delighted with indeed a 0-0, so would I. But I think a wee draw keeps them cooking, and they're looking quite tidy in the group. It would be good if they get through. Of course, I'm looking for a very, very tiring evening for Rangers because we have to go to Ibrox on Sunday. So I'm hoping they're all absolutely knackered. And that would suit Motherwell just fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nothing each.
Sunday?
Well, no, not at all. No. I think, as I say, I was slightly disheartened after the Aberdeen defeat. We got a bit of a thumping, you know. Yeah. But as Stevie Robinson says, he says there was a few players 10% below their normal game. Hopefully they'll click into action. Football players, lack of professionalism all round. We spoke about it before with the Hearts players last week who looked for a while as if they were going to beat Rangers and get their first win at Tynecastle since March. And that was because the cameras were there, they're playing Rangers, the place is packed out, it's a big game. I'm maybe looking for a wee bit like that for Motherwell on Sunday, but we've got an horrendous record against Rangers. In fact, I don't think we've beaten Rangers out with the playoffs, of course. I think you need to go back to Boxing Day 2002 when the Mercurial James McFadden scored the winner against them at Fir Park. That's a long time. But you never know.
Can I ask you just, Tam, on that basis, do you think, can you remember the last time you were at Ibrox witnessing a Motherwell win? Was it an Owen Coyle double?
The Owen Coyle double was superb because Rangers were set for a title-winning party that day, and we were the ultimate party poopers. And the great story about that day was that David Murray had meant to have, just as the game was starting, gone along to John Chapman, the then Motherwell chairman, says, "John, with everything that's happening after the game, the party and that, I might not see you, so all the best, have a nice summer." Right? Bang, 2-0 to Motherwell, Owen Coyle double. John Chapman gives a line to David, he says, "I'll see you in there for that drink."
Brilliant. Bang, right over the top of the head. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I think Rangers will be hoping they can spoil a party in Portugal. We will discuss it in detail tomorrow, as well as looking ahead to the weekend's Premiership fixtures over Saturday and Sunday. So what about Celtic? Well, ahead of Celtic against Lazio, Tam's going to a pub. I'll probably go to the press box and watch Celtic against Lazio and see if they can produce one of those stunning European nights. The one thing that, again, seems to be, I think the word we're seeing here is bogging down every fixture we're talking about, is quite simply racism. And Ryan Christie's been talking about it ahead of the game, saying if any player suffered racist abuse, he and his teammates would walk off the pitch.
We've certainly been talking about it, because it's in the news, and we're always going to speak about stuff like that in the football world when it comes up. And I saw the manager's kind of comments as well, and he's said it before to us previously. And obviously, first things first, if kind of racial abuse becomes a part of this game, then it's up to kind of the UEFA and the referees at the time to make a decision. But to answer your question, I'll have absolutely no qualms walking off the park. I think the manager said that he'd be happy for us to do it, and I think in this day and age it's probably going to need strong stances like that to really put a message across to try and stop it. I think you probably get the same answer from everyone in the squad.
Yeah, you just wonder now if we have to just keep on talking about it to try and highlight the people who are doing it, just how many of them are guilty of it. It's difficult to quantify, but certainly Neil Lennon, the Celtic managers, had a go at it.
Well, I'm hoping tomorrow is a celebration of football between two great clubs, and in the main, I think Lazio have a great support. There are always a minority who want to overshadow the game, make noise for the wrong reasons, or put a stain on the game. I'm hoping that's not going to be the case tomorrow night. I'm hoping that we're at the end of the game we're talking about, you know, a great atmosphere against two great sides, you know, playing in a great game of football. There's a underbelly now of racism, not just in Italy, but we're seeing it in Eastern Europe as well, and we want to eradicate that as quickly as possible, because I have a duty of care to my players, you know, and I want them protected. They're here to play football, and it doesn't matter what colour their skin is or what their background is. They're here to play for Celtic, and as far as we're concerned, we're a club that are open to everybody. And Mr. Steen is right, football is nothing without the supporters. The most important people in football are the ones who play football and the ones who pay at the gate to come and support the team.
Yeah, football without the fans is nothing, but if the fans are indulging in deplorable racist songs or abuse towards individual players, then you'd be as well having nobody in the stadium. It's a strange situation we find ourselves in. I mean, Neil Lennon there talking about, you know, Italy has that problem, Eastern European countries have that problem. We have that problem in the United Kingdom. Yeah. We have racism. We have sectarianism in this country, and it absolutely is predominantly in the west of Scotland.
Exactly. In fact, I think all offensive singing, hopefully we could re-examine it and even backdate some 3-0 victories awarded to teams. I'm thinking for the years that maybe Celtic and Rangers have come to Fir Park. If we heard any offensive songs, can we get that a 3-0 win for Motherwell? And I think we're due some Champions League appearances.
I think you might have won the league, Tam, by then. You'd have been in there.
No, but listen, we're being slightly facetious here. The bottom line is it's sad that, there you go, you had a report there on Ryan Christie, a report there on Neil Lennon, and they're both talking about racism and walking off the park and the behaviour of fans. It's secondary, it seems now, to the actual football. It used to be that's what we spoke about first, and we worried about if there were any issues after it, but it's ridiculous. And I would like Celtic to take a stance, because I think they've got UEFA here in a way by the short and curlies, and there's maybe no love lost between Celtic and UEFA with the amount of times UEFA have charged Celtic in recent years. If there was racist chanting, Celtic should just walk off the park and say, right, everybody heard the chanting, can we just have a 3-0 please, UEFA? Are you going to take a stance against this and absolutely hammer Lazio? And it would be even more interesting, as we were saying just off air there, if, let's say, Lazio had run away with a 4-0 lead and some of their fans started to chant and started monkey noises, whatever else it is that they do, and Celtic just went off the park and said, right, UEFA, the ball is in your court, what are you going to do here? Are you serious about this issue, or are you just going to think, wait a minute, this is an Italian team we're talking about, and Celtic are small fry there for Scotland? Yeah. It'd be very, very interesting, but I think Neil Lennon means what he's saying there, by the way.
Yeah.
You know, I think he's genuine about this, that if he does hear it, he's going to walk off, but it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that I think is just blackening and tarnishing the whole of the football at the moment. And I think we have to seriously look at it. And as Tam mentioned there, actually talking about the football is refreshing when you hear from our reporter Gabriel Antoniazzi looking ahead to Celtic against Lazio.
So victory here at Celtic Park this evening will put Neil Lennon's men in a very commanding position in Group E, with a high chance of European football after Christmas. But what does the boss expect of their Italian counterparts this evening?
I expect the game to be, it'll probably be open, the way both teams to play, and that may suit us and it may suit Lazio, but I think we've got the ingredients of a very exciting game ahead.
Lennon knows the visitors have European prowess, and as reigning Coppa Italia champions, they clearly know how to negotiate knockout competition. Lazio do sit 7th in Serie A, but they'll be buoyed by Sunday's comeback from 3-0 down to draw with Atalanta. The Hoops boss highlighted the box-to-box midfielder Sergej Milinkovic-Savic and lethal forward Ciro Immobile as the danger men, but whether they start remains to be seen. For Celtic, expect them to line up with the same as they did against Cluj last time out, with their international defence, the trio of Scots in midfield and James Forrest, Odson Edouard and Mohamed El Yunusi up top. Ryan Christie will be back in the team after the weekend suspension, and he knows how crucial a win tonight could prove to be.
I think in the aspect that obviously it's a very big game, and it's two big names in European football over the years coming together, so it's a kind of brilliant tie for everybody. And then the other side of that is obviously we're looking to win. Obviously, I think don't want to speak too early, but if we hopefully get a result, tomorrow night, then we've had a very good start to this group.
So victory is the aim at Celtic Park this evening, but will Lazio spoil the party? Kick-off in the East End of Glasgow is 8 o'clock.
Yeah, looking forward to that one. Celtic against Lazio. Here's how the fixtures pan out for British teams in the Europa League, as well as Celtic against Lazio. Of course, Porto against Rangers as the early kick-off. You've got Slovan Bratislava against Wolves, Partizan Belgrade against Manchester United, and Arsenal against Vitória Guimarães. So, obviously, we're hoping that some of the British clubs can get positive results in the competition. Certainly would be great if Celtic and Rangers could engineer their way through the group into the knockout phase of the Europa League. It would be great for the financial reward and, of course, that coefficient we keep bleating on about. Now, as we move nicely into another little storm in Scottish football, which is, of course, ticket allocation, Celtic have just announced earlier this afternoon that it's sold out its entire allocation of 36,000 tickets for the semi-final at Hampden. This, of course, against Hibernian. And I get the feeling that we're going into our usual argument, Tam, which is about ticket allocation for fans, because Hearts and Hibs are not happy.
Yeah, well, in an ideal world, should be a 50-50 split. And I don't care if it's, Celtic against Albion Rovers in a semi-final. I would always go for a 50-50 split originally, if we use Celtic Albion Rovers as an example, and then the minute it says, well, that's wholly ridiculous, Albion Rovers, there's no way they're going to take half the allocation, then you drip feed them back to Celtic, and you make sure that the seats are filled out. It is a showpiece, a semi-final. You don't want it to look poor on the telly. Hibs were involved in one of those such matches not so long ago, where there were acres of empty seats. It looks dreadful.
To be fair, your club, and I say your club obviously because everybody knows you're a Motherwell fan, have handled that very well in the past. They've actually handed tickets back.
We've been sensible about it. We've got 4,500 season ticket holders, right, which is decent enough. So we're not going to start looking for half of Hampden. Those days are gone. The days when we had 35,000, I won't call them supporters, but there were 35,000 people to cheer on Motherwell in May the 18th, 1991. Many of whom I knew a few weeks later, the start of the following season. They were jumping on the buses and going to Ibrox and Parkhead. We're well aware of that.
Yes.
There was also folk that had come out for Australia, up for England. Some folk even came for shots for that final, would you believe? What a trek that is.
Metre and a half in the taxi.
But wait, when you're sensible about it these days, and Motherwell have been, you take what's deemed a decent allocation, and if it starts looking like, the ticket office has been quiet at Fir Park the last couple of days, you think, that's us, hand the others back and fill the stadium. But there's clearly another issue at heart here in terms of pricing as well, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. Hearts and Hibs have released a statement on this. Leanne Dempster has had something to say on it. Whilst the club accepts the need to ensure the best possible attendance at showpiece games, it is our view that it would have been reasonable and practicable for the SPFL to accede to a request to retain a higher number of less expensive tickets. The response has been disappointing and frustrating. It's my view that segregation would not have been an issue for the area we requested, and it is the decision taken means the vast majority of Hibs fans now wishing to go to the game will have to pay the higher price ticket regardless of their age or status. This, of course, Leanne referring to the family sections which have areas of cheaper seats. Hearts obviously are aware of this situation, following on from Hibernian's statement of earlier today in connection with the allocation of tickets for the semi-finals. We can confirm that we too have had our ticket allocation reduced. We have been in regular dialogue with the SPFL over the last 2 weeks to try to prevent any reduction being imposed prematurely. While we have had some success in postponing their decision and limiting the reduction in our allocation, we share the frustration expressed by Hibernian. The reason for reassessing the initial allocation is that the SPFL board previously agreed that clubs would work cooperatively with regard to ticket allocation in order to fulfil the objective of maximising attendance at all semi-final and final games held at Hampden. Well, it clearly hasn't happened, Ruffy, and you can understand why Hearts and Hibs clearly feel miffed at this.
Yeah, I just can't get my head around anybody thinking that Hearts and Hibs wouldn't have a full attendance at that game.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's 52,000 there. Obviously, there's the VIPs may take up about 10 or something like that. You know, it just isn't. If you're saying Celtic have got 35,000.
Yeah, sold out. 36,000 now.
The other point as well, where they could have a wee nod to the pricing, Peter, is the very fact that it's the Hearts and Hibs fans who have got to travel to this game. Now, don't give me, you might start the argument, but there's Celtic supporters clubs up in Dingwall, there's Celtic fans who are coming out from Ireland. If we see this as games between teams from Glasgow and teams from Edinburgh, it is clearly the fans from Edinburgh who have got the extra expense of travel. So maybe they could have taken that into account when it comes to allowing these fans some lower priced tickets. But when will common sense ever prevail in Scottish football?
Well, I agree with you 100%. I wish we could end on a positive note. In fact, we might as well try and end on a positive note. Ruffy, you think Rangers can get a draw in Portugal. Tam thinks it's a 0-0. If you are wondering if he's changed from the last 12 shows, it's exactly the same all the way through.
It's going to come up.
Ruffy, Celtic against Lazio.
I'm going to go Celtic to win narrowly 2-1.
Narrowly 2-1. On that note, don't forget you can give us your thoughts right across all our social media outlets, Twitter, Facebook. We got Facebook Live, and we also have, of course, the YouTube, which you can subscribe to. If you download the app, you'll get all the news from across world football, and you'll get the unique video content and competitions, and you can win yourself some prizes too. Hopefully you will do that, and let's not forget, big news on the way. If you follow our social media, then you'll see Tam, Ruffy and myself getting ready for the podcast, which is coming very soon. A lot of people have been asking us about it. Finally, the studio is ready. The microphones are at the ready, and Tam, Ruffy and myself and some special guests will obviously be talking football, maybe not the news of the day, but we'll be going through quite a few topics and having more than a few laughs, which hopefully you'll join us with. So, from Ruffy, from Tam Cowan, hopefully he will pace himself in the drinking stakes watching 2 games of Europa League football. Hopefully you'll join us on YouTube tomorrow. We'll be talking, hopefully, about Rangers and Celtic with some positive results. Thanks for watching.
Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.